As a fitness professional, you know the joy of helping others, and you know it's more than just fitness. We're training the whole person. Wellness coaching provides expertise that goes beyond fitness and nutrition. It's a holistic approach to helping others become their best selves while reaching their goals. To us, there's no greater joy than that. Join the fitness leader. Become a fitness leader. Become a certified wellness coach. Go to nasm.org/wellness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strong Mind, Strong Body. I'm your host, Angie Miller, and today I have a wonderful guest, Nesha Pai. She is the owner of Pai CPA and the author of an amazing book called Overcoming Ordinary Obstacles. Before I bring Nesha in, I want to tell you what we're going to deep dive into today. We're going to talk about how to set yourself up for financial success. Because no matter the business that you're in, financial success is the foundation of that business. In order to sustain and maintain a thriving business, you have to be wired toward what's it going to take to be financially successful in this space. So by the end of the episode, my goal is that Nesha is going to be able to share with you some really powerful insights and strategies to empower your financial journey. So we're going to talk about things like mindful spending and goal setting so that you do feel grounded in your financial decisions. So Nesha, I'm going to bring you in and have you introduce yourself.
Hi, Angie. Thank you for having me on your show today. Nesha Pai, founder of Pai CPA. We take care of small businesses in their bookkeeping and tax needs, and we take care of clients all over the country. So that is us.
All right. So I'm going to make sure that at the end, everybody knows how to get a hold of you because everyone's probably going ding, 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 tax season. All right. So,
Right.
So let's talk about this financial success thing. I know that, kind of low hanging fruit, if you will, would be, okay, we need to spend mindfully and we need to have goals, but let's start with the ugly first. Like, what are some of the biggest maybe mistakes or traps that people fall into when it comes to financial decision making that is the opposite of success?
Gosh, great question. One is not having knowledge and knowledge in all of their finances, like how many bank accounts do they have? How many credit cards do they have? Do they have access to all of those? I even tell women, clients of mine, especially, know how to get into your bank accounts and your credit card accounts. Do you have a will set up? A lot of people don't think about this, but if someone dies, a spouse or whatnot, depending upon your state, your money can be hung up in probate, right? So it's about kind of setting yourself up for success is first the knowledge of what you have. Can you access it? And do you have it protected, right? Like in a will or a trust or whatnot. So that would be the first thing, in my opinion.
So I wrote that down because I think that that's key. And I also think in that order, know what you've got. Do you have 5 accounts? Do you have 4 accounts? Is it a 401k? Is it a pension? And where is it? So it's not just knowledge, but access. Even if you're the person in your family who's like, well, I don't pay the bills, my partner does.
Right.
Great. That's great. Everybody divvies up roles and responsibilities. That totally makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is not knowing how to access it, not knowing passwords, not knowing where it is, so that if something happens, if someone passes or the relationship dissolves, now what? You're going to spend all this time just trying to figure it out. And then you said protect it. So make sure you've got a will or a trust or something. So that's huge. I bet you run into that a lot.
Well, it's interesting because I grew up in an interesting household where I come from a women subservient dominated culture, and the man goes out and makes the money and provides. So I watched my father go out and make the money and provide, but then had no clue about the finances at all. My mom took care of everything, which of course is kind of opposite too. And if something, God forbid, were to happen to my mom, he would have no idea of any of that stuff. Nothing, not how to get into a bank account or how much we had or where our passports are. Like you said, like absolutely nothing. And I just grew up thinking, I'm a control freak. So I'm like, I have to know where everything is.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to have access.
It's so true. I do hear that too. I do hear where one person brings it in and the other person is the one who takes care of things because maybe that's time, right? They have more accessible or available
Sure.
time. But to your point, it's the not knowing, because you and I are at a stage in our lives where we hear a lot of this stuff, where somebody
Right.
passes or somebody gets a divorce, and
Right.
you're like, how do you not know this stuff?
That's right. And I've actually talked to a few potential clients, referrals that have come to me like, Nesha, can you help my friend? She is clueless. Her partner just passed and she has no idea what to do next or what to look for. And that's scary. So I would say knowledge, know it, have access to it, protect it.
Yeah. So those are three good ones. So let's pretend then, we know now, okay, we have to know what we've got. We have to be able to access it, and we have to have that will or that trust in case something were to happen. What are some other strategies that you have found that really, really help people to be successful? And before I turn it over though, I do want to say one thing, because I think you and I both believe this. When we say be successful, we're not giving you a number and, oh, that equates success. My
Right.
husband and I have this talk constantly where I'm like, you equate success to money. I equate success to joy. What fills my heart? What makes me feel good?
Yeah.
What makes me feel like I'm serving people? That to me is success.
Right.
And to him, it's money that equates success. And so there again, that has to do with values and how you grew up. So I just wanted to put that out there, that I think when you and I are talking about success, we're not talking about a numbers game.
No. Yeah. I mean, I've seen the most miserable people in the world who are millionaires. And so it's not about money. It's about joy and purpose and value. But also, money may not buy happiness, but it does buy a comfortable life. So how can we set ourselves up for that? Well, I talk about money buckets a lot. Money buckets are huge for me. And it goes with the principle Profit First, the book by Michael Malkowitz, if you're a business owner. But if you're not, I still believe in money buckets. And what I mean by that is creating savings accounts for different things. For example, for me, because I'm a business owner, I have a tax account, right? I want to put money away for the taxes I'm going to owe at the end of the year. I have a vacation account because I love my vacation. I have an emergency fund account. And I put a percentage of what comes into my bank account, my checking account, into each of those every month. I have some people doing it weekly because they don't have they don't have the discipline. They will spend money in their bank account. If they see it, they will spend it. Yeah. So I said, okay, let's do this weekly. Say on Friday, every day at noon on your lunch break, you're going to go into your bank. You're going to be like, I'm going to move this, or even an auto draft. Some people can do an auto draft. Yeah. And they don't even see it. I think the psyche, Angie, is if I see the money in my bank account, I'm going to spend it. I have it. It's there.
So I love the money buckets part. And I also love that now I don't feel so weird that I have 18 accounts, because
yeah.
it's like there's so many different accounts, so many different places. And it does make it complicated when you're trying to figure out where money is going sometimes. Sure. But I think that what you're saying, though, is your money buckets are devoted to saving, not spending. So you're not spending from all those accounts. You're putting pockets of money into each of those for different purposes. Right. And I love that, too, because I feel like, talk about adding joy. You and I both love to travel. So to me, part of the joy of travel is getting ready to travel. And so watching money go into that account is like, woohoo, right?
Yeah. So when you're ready to take your trip, you're like, I got a little bit of money to spend now, and I don't feel so guilty, or I don't feel like I'm stressed out because, it's the same concept as like the Christmas. People would do Christmas buckets, right? They'd save all year. At Christmas time, they'd have all this money to spend on gifts for their family. It's the same concept, like the vacation bucket, right? Like put money away all year. When you get ready to go on your vacation, you've got money to spend and you're not stressed out. So money buckets are a huge, huge thing for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to pause for a minute. I had a memory. So, those of you who are of a certain age, you remember layaway? You'd put your stuff on layaway. So, those of you out here who are like, "What?" It was this concept that if you didn't have it, you didn't buy it, or like meaning you didn't put it on a credit card. But what it was you'd go buy an item, you wouldn't have the money, but you'd put it on layaway. And so each week you'd go up and you'd make a layaway payment. And by the time you got that item, it wasn't immediate gratification, it was working towards something. And that was such a beautiful thing. And I feel like we do kind of miss that. But with layaway, there was also, you reminded me, our credit union growing up used to have this, I think they called it a Christmas fund or
Yeah.
Christmas savings.
Yeah.
And you could go in and put money in each week. And so that when Christmas came or the holiday that you would celebrate came, you would go and you would have been saving all year long. And it was literally called like your holiday fund. And they would
Yes.
promote that.
Yes. Gosh, layaway. I remember this now. Bringing back memories of the 70s. But yeah, I can't tell you how many business owner clients of mine, like they actually tell me like, hey, it's like confessions or something. They're like, Nesha, I see the money in my bank account and I spend it. Right. So create a discipline for yourself because you will spend it otherwise. And the discipline is if you create these buckets and you either do an auto draft or you just start moving percentages over from, different deposits that come in. Say you get paid biweekly. All right. Well, maybe you have an auto draft that goes out a percentage of that biweekly deposit that goes out to your savings accounts. There's all kinds of ways to do it, but I believe in money buckets.
Okay, awesome. And that's from the book Profit First. Okay.
Yeah, and Profit First is really for business owners, but it's the same concept for people who are W-2'd, right? So it's like you get money in, you put it in buckets.
Okay. Like that idea. So what else is a good thing that you tell your clients to set them up for financial success or long-term financial success?
So, I am a big goals person, but I think sometimes people fail or they feel failure with setting up goals because they may not make them because they might be a little unrealistic. So I say, let's create a budget first. And let's see let's base it on what you've been spending. Like, what are your actual bills that you need to live? And then what's a buffer for, say, medical and some other emergency things that might come up, repairs, maintenance for appliances, your car. And let's see, like, if you can spit out for me, if I come to you and I say, what is your monthly household average cost?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can't answer that. That's a problem, right? I need you to know what your monthly average spend is before we could even come up with a budget. Right?
Yeah.
Or a goal.
Yeah, that makes sense because how do you set a goal if you don't know what you've got coming in? So
or what you're spending, right? Like, what are you spending? How do you know you're spending $300 on groceries? What if you're really spending $600 when you think about what you're doing? Or you go out to eat so much that your food cost is huge, but you don't realize that because you don't know because you're not really watching it.
Yeah, definitely. And that also comes down to values and priorities. So when you are setting those goals, it has to be according to your values and priorities because you and I have talked about this where it could be that you value going out to dinner or going to social engagements. Somebody else might value having nice vacations. And so it's kind of where's your value system, and then your goals have to align with your values because your values are going to be different from somebody else.
100%. I like to eat nice food, right? And so I'll spend a little bit more money on organic food or good restaurants. And I could be next to somebody who says, man, I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A. I'm cool with that. I'd rather drive a Beamer or a Mercedes. So yeah, great point. It all comes down to what's your value system. Once you figure out what you're actually spending, let's talk about then what brings you joy. Like you said, where do you want to spend your money and where can we like cut back?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because even if you are a person who likes good meals, to your point, if you're overspending on good
Right.
meals, then
You still
maybe
don't want
that's
to do
where,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I like the idea of goal setting based on values, goal setting based on what's actually coming in, what's your actual budget. Now we can set goals. That makes a lot more sense to me because otherwise I think goals are just random. It's
Right.
more like, oh, it's kind of like when people say to me, I want to exercise more. Well, what is
Yeah.
exercise more? Does
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
mean, are you exercising at all? That's just going to be different based on what is your lived experience. And then where do you want to go from here? So, what are some other techniques or tools that you teach your clients as far as getting a better grasp of their finances so that they can be successful?
Well, I tell them to look at their financials monthly. That is a big thing. So many people don't have a consistency in looking at their numbers. It's the avoidance thing. I don't want, I've got money in my bank account, so I know I'm okay. Well, you're not okay because, you need to know, like, do you have debt? What are your debts? Do you have a safe cushion in your checking account? What are your expenses? Like, how do you know that you're okay? What if you have a huge meals and entertainment spend one month or a huge advertising spend? Like, you need to really look at your numbers at least monthly to see where you're spending your money and does it make sense as to where you're spending it, right? That's the biggest thing, and people just don't look at it. I've got business owners that will want to look at it annually during tax time, and I'm like, no, 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 no. We're going to change that mindset. I'm going to force you to look at your numbers monthly, even if you don't want to. I'm going to send them to you. And yeah, I think if you start getting into the habit, then you just know, right? And it'll help you make better decisions. People make bad decisions because they don't know, and they just think, oh, I have money in my checking balance is positive. It's positive, so I can spend that right now.
Yeah.
Right? And they make bad decisions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, Nesha, I'm going to reset for a minute. I'm Angie Miller. This is Strong Mind, Strong Body. I'm talking to my friend in financial genius, Nesha Pai. She is the owner of Pai CPA in Charlotte, and she's also the author of a book called Overcoming Ordinary Obstacles. But really, what we're talking about is how do you set yourself up for financial success? And what we've talked about so far is Nesha, the first thing that you said was know what you've got, know how to access what you've got in case of emergency, if there's the dissolving of a relationship or somebody passes away, and then make sure that it's protected. Do you have a will or do you have a trust to protect your kids or the people you're going to pass your money on to? And then we're talking about goal setting and making sure that those goals align with your values. So is there, what else? I also love the money buckets, by the way. The money buckets is amazing. So just little buckets of money toward what I would consider goals or what I would consider whatever brings you the most joy so that you don't have to feel guilty. If you are a person who likes to eat caviar every night, if you've got your money bucket
Right.
designed for that, I mean, for me, I'm the person, I don't necessarily want Chick-fil-A, but I'm the person who doesn't really care about, exquisite meals, unless somebody else is paying. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Is there what else though do you think helps people in terms of financial success so that they don't fear money and they're thinking in terms of how can I be successful with money?
Yeah. And again, a lot of that goes to the abundance mindset. Again, if you are living in your purpose and you're chasing purpose instead of money, you will find, and this is a law of attraction, law of universe, whether you believe it or not, you will find money will come to you. Money will follow you. If you're chasing your purpose and not the money. I think that is huge. So again, Angie, I think that goes back to mindset and chasing a career, chasing a purpose for the right reasons, not for money, right? When people go into something for money, I find they don't do well. don't succeed in the same manner.
Isn't that the truth? Like people who go into a certain profession because it's what everybody in their family did, but
Right.
they don't actually find joy, or it's because it's what their parents told them they should go into, or it's because somebody said you're really good at this, but it doesn't inherently bring them joy. And I do think that for some of those people, they do make gobs of money and they can be successful at it because it's a lucrative field, but they never really find their joy. And those
Right.
are the people that I meet along the way that are like, I've always wanted to teach fitness classes. I'm working with somebody right now who has been a marketing person for years and years and years. And she's like, okay, I can't give up my day job. That's the reality of it. But what I really want is to teach fitness classes so that at least I have a side hustle that brings me joy. And I do
Mm.
think that's a big part of financial success is if you can't love your day job, at least find something that you do love so that you don't
It
feel like,
balances it. Yeah.
yeah.
Amen to that. I 100% believe in that. I'm like, you still need to live. You still need to have a means to live. But what can you do outside of it that will bring you joy? That will also bring you extra money to do the things you want to do. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think that's great advice. And yeah, again, chasing the joy and the purpose, and the money will follow. It will follow.
I like that. I like that
Mhm.
idea. I would say, Nisha, if I had to put it out there too, I would say that have a good financial person that you trust. So if you're
Yes.
not good at money, so to speak, have somebody look over your numbers that is, who can say, hey, man, you're way out of line, or hey, you're doing pretty darn good, right?
Yeah. So great point, Angie. I think everyone needs a good tax CPA. If you're a business owner, you need a good bookkeeping firm. Those aren't always the same. And you need a great financial advisor. A financial advisor will help you set up what your household goals are. Are you saving for college for your kids, retirement? What do you need to get to this number that you want to get to? So that's huge. And then I also think a good lawyer, and you want someone that's going to help you estate plan, right? And as if you're a business owner, as you're building your asset, you want to make sure that's protected. So those are the 4 people that I would say you need to make relationships with, to have a team that helps you get there to success in the financial realm.
Okay. So you're saying a tax CPA, you said a financial advisor, you said an estate attorney, and what was the fourth one?
In a bookkeeper, if you have a business, right? Make sure, and the tax person can sometimes be the bookkeeper. They're not always. In fact, mostly they're not. But I would make sure that you have someone who maintains your bookkeeping on a consistent basis. That means monthly, so that you have financials monthly so you can see your numbers. But those are the 4 people to have on your team. And if you're not a business owner, you definitely want to have a tax CPA. I know a lot of people do their taxes on TurboTax, and that's fine if have a very simple W-2 situation. But if you own real estate or you have like K-1 income, get a tax CPA. And then also a financial advisor. That's huge. If you want to start saving for retirement, college, anything, right?
Yeah.
They will help you invest your money or guide you in how to invest your money.
Okay. I
Mhm.
like those ideas. So,
Yeah.
Nisha, is there anything else before we go that you would like to just share as far as financial success or, the attitudes around finances or just any other last thoughts or that you want to put out there?
I think we've covered everything, but I would say for people who are afraid, let's rip the Band-Aid off and face your fear, because the only way you're going to grow financially is if you face it. And we all know this. So I'm going to encourage everybody listening to face it so that they have the tools to make better decisions and make the money that they want,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely, because everybody has a different idea of what's comfortable for them as far as the amount of money that they want to make.
Yeah.
So, Nesha Pai, thank you so much. If people want to get a hold of you and they have questions for you, financial questions for you, how might they reach you?
I'm on LinkedIn. They can find me on Nesha Pai CPA on LinkedIn. There's only one. And I'm on Instagram. So if you want to DM me, get into my DMs, I'm at Nesha Pai.
Okay. Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you out there who are listening to Strong Mind, Strong Body. I hope that you feel financially or set up to be financially successful. And we will see you next week.